Alright, hello. Generally, I play a lot of PvE. I don't really play a lot of PvP. That's just kind of my thing. I'm more comfortable fighting bots. I have been my whole life. And I've been playing this game for probably almost 3 years or more. I'm not sure. And I've met a lot of different people with a lot of different play styles. On one hand, there are some people who are really nice. They do a lot of teamwork and they're fun to fight with. But on one hand, there are some people who just only do one attack over and over and over for the whole time and refuse to learn the hero's kit and for sometimes are just a nuisance, I guess. Of course, it's different with a new player or someone who is learning a new hero. You kind of have to give them some slack. They don't really know any better, or they're learning the hero's moves. So who knows? There are some people who are probably rep 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even 70, and they only use one attack the whole time. And it's just, that's really boring to me. Like, when I try to play, I like to do some mix-ups, just have some flavor to it, so it's not as boring and, kind of engaging, and you learn more about the hero. But that's really just me. I've made this tier list last night. It was kind of my idea, and if anyone else had the same idea, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take it. I just kind of thought of it, and as far as I know, I haven't seen anyone do this, so there's that. And the criteria is pretty lenient for this. Nothing is really set in stone. So the first one is just viability. How easy is it for them to get kills? The second one is how annoying they are. So if they ruin your attacks or just disrupt the flow of the gank, something like that. And the third one is pretty subjective, but it is what hero do people mostly gravitate to when they want easy kills? I think I've done enough rambling, so let's get on to the list. First in D tier is going to be Shinobi, and we're not talking about rework Shinobi because he's not out yet, but if it was, then he'd be probably like triple S tier or something, but we're talking about current Shinobi, and he's the first one, unfortunately. He doesn't really have any unblockables. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he doesn't really have any unblockables. He suffers from low health, and I see a lot of people only just throw in heavy attacks. That's it. Not really many people pick Shinobi. Like, he's probably like in the top 5 least picked heroes, I'm pretty sure. So, not many people play him, and probably for good reason, because he's not really too viable. But if someone knows how to do his range attack, then it's all fine, and it's even better if you know how to do sickle rain, which I think some people just kind of forget he has, or like don't really realize. So yeah, first one is Shinobi. The second and last hero in D tier is Nuxia, and she suffers the same thing as having no unblockables, and really she only really has her traps, which bots don't really always fall for. I mean, sometimes they do, but depending on the level, then they'll just either hit you out of the trap or like dodge or whatnot. She doesn't really have too much for herself. Again, besides trap, no one really picks her. I don't think, like, she might be the least picked hero if I remember, but she's kind of fun in her own way, but not really too good. I guess she's really only good in ganks maybe, or duels, I guess. But yeah, not much to her, unfortunately, so that's why she's in D tier. Moving up to C tier, now we have Nobushi. She doesn't have an unblockable either, but she does have a bash, and her heavies can sometimes hit people in the way, which is not really good. I see a lot of people just spamming heavies, or if they know a little bit about Nobushi, they'll just spam bleed, which can really rack up the damage. But again, no unblockable, but she does have hyper armor. Not hyper armor, what am I thinking of? Undodgeable attacks, that's what I'm thinking of. She's decent, especially after her rework. Next is Valkyrie on C tier. She technically kind of doesn't have an unblockable, but she does have her pin, which I guess probably is, but not many people really use it in PvE. Really, mostly people only use her sweep. That's pretty much all they know. They just do like a heavy into sweep, and I don't know, either they'll go forward with the third heavy like that, or they'll just like throw a random heavy. Like, I don't know, it's strange. Not again, not too many people play Valkyrie, but she's good. She is alright, but again, no one really picks her, and the bots do tend to dodge the sweep, so that's just stamina that is wasted. Lastly on C tier is going to be Tiandi. He's an interesting pick. Either people only do his side dodge into heavies or just heavy, but there are some people who kind of do his other moves like his bash, his palm strike, but for the most part, when I see people, or you know, kick, sometimes they do kick, but it doesn't really guarantee anything. They just kind of do it because kick's cool, I guess. But he's interesting because sometimes the bots will get fooled by the dodge and just get hit, or they'll just block it or counter it their own way. So while he can be strong, he can be kind of just countered. A decent amount of people pick him, but I haven't really seen many picks for Tiandi in a while. Moving on up to B tier, we have Aramusha. Now, what a lot of people do is they'll just only do is heavies or lights because they're all infinite chain, but mostly heavies because lights can get interrupted by a block. Ever since his rework, I've noticed a good amount of people starting to play Aramusha. Not too much, but there's that. His sometimes they'll probably do his zone for a quick kill, or you know, it's unblockable, so why not? But for the most part, it's just heavy into heavy into heavy into heavy, and just kind of see when eventually the bot will die. So, yep, B tier. Next is Conqueror, and just like Aramusha, he's able to infinite chain with his lights and heavies, but people pick the heavy because, well, light gets blocked and you are interrupted. They'll mainly just do that, or they'll like probably do his charged heavy, but not really all the time, maybe in ganks just to get the kill. And surprisingly, a good amount of people pick Conqueror because, well, he's pretty defensive, but again, a lot of people just pick him for offense and just spam heavies and whatnot. A few do his shield bash or any kind of bash mix-up, but for the most part, it's just heavy attacks. Yep, that's all. Now is for Peacekeeper, and she's kind of a strange case. I've seen people who have played her, they like just do straight only heavy attacks. They don't really do anything with bleed, which is kind of a shame because her kit's kind of built around that. Or there's even one person who only did lights, but there are people who do the bleed, and of course that unlocks the unblockable, and even in zone just unblockable, so they'll bleed once and just kind of go ham and just get all that unblockable. I don't know, she can kind of be annoying, but doesn't really interrupt other people too much. Her range is pretty small, and a lot of people I've noticed lately are like just starting to play Peacekeeper, so not like probably rep 3 or less. So yeah, maybe there's a rise in Peacekeeper players. Lastly, in B tier, we have Warmonger. Most people I noticed just kind of do heavy attacks, or they'll even do her side unblockable, but you can get kind of interrupted by that, so usually they just kind of wait for the attack and then dodge to do the attack. But it's mostly that. Sometimes they might do her bash, but really it's just only heavy into heavy. Not really many people play Warmonger anymore. I know maybe kind of a little bit before, but right now she's just kind of like not picked too often. She can be kind of annoying with her side attack and her side attacks. I just repeated myself. Her side unblockable and just her normal side attacks can kind of interrupt some people nearby. So yeah, that's it for B tier. Going on up to A tier, we have Berserker. He can also do chains, but mostly people just do his unblockable finisher with either the side or just a quick unblockable with the top. As far as I know, he doesn't really interrupt anyone too bad. But, you know, if you know how to just do the top unblockable, then you're good. then that's really all everyone uses. Some people play Berserker, but again, not too much. I'd say a modest amount play him. Also in A tier is Centurion. He's pretty good. Most people just do heavy, or they'll do a heavy and fully charge the last one into unblockable, but you know, it tends to get dodged. Or they'll just like do a stab and do a full charge punch to try and hit them, and you know, do the full, not a full cutscene, but just do the lunge, and there you go, that's it. Not much else to explain. Maybe his zone, but not really too much. He doesn't really interrupt a lot of people, but his punch can get interrupted. I'd say a pretty good amount of people play him because I don't know, he's like a meme character, and he's cool. So yeah, A tier it is for you. Next is Gladiator, and for the most part, people only do is heavy into Skewer, or some kind of other mix-up, but it's mostly just heavy attacks. Yeah, that's it. They don't really toe stab, maybe sometimes, some do, but it's just mainly just the Skewer. And no bash, he doesn't, no bashes, so yeah. He doesn't really interrupt people too bad, and a decent amount of people pick him. Really not much else to say, except just he skewers everyone. That's it. Also in A is going to be Jormungandr, and it's really self-explanatory. It's just heavy into heavy. I don't really see many people do his punch, his grab, or anything, and I don't know, just only heavy because it's unblockable, and most of the time it's kind of confirmed, and it can wall splat, so that's what people do. Sometimes I guess he's kind of annoying to other people, but meh, and some people pick him, and really that's kind of almost all they always do. So yeah, very boring. Next is Griffin, and well, maybe not too self-explanatory, but I see a lot of people just throw just heavies everywhere, or light or heavy into kick, like a lot, or his side dodge, and that's pretty much it, what a lot of people do. A good amount of people still pick him. I mean, he's still relatively new. I know that the new hero's coming soon, but I can't even talk right now. People pick him and really only do that, just kick, and he can get really annoying if like with his side heavies can get really annoying. They have a lot of range. It can interrupt a lot of people, and just gets really annoying. So yeah, Griffin the Kicker, he is A tier. Raider is also A, and really, it's just a lot of just heavy attacks with zone, and that's really all people do. They might do his storming tap, not really. It's just only heavy because hyper armor and zone has a lot of range. He can get annoying. His side heavies and his zone do have a large range to them, and they can really interrupt a lot of people. But really, not really many people pick him. So yeah, Raider, you are A. Shaman's at A, and really a lot of people just do her side unblockable because really that's kind of it. Not much to explain. Or they'll just do heavy. Very few do the bleed, unfortunately. But when they do the bleed, they like try their hardest to get that bite, and that can really interrupt ganks. It can actually feed a lot of revenge, and it's just kind of yeah. Some people do pick Shaman, not too much, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, A tier for Shaman. Next at A is going to be Warlord, and I picked him because this dude can do a lot of damage. While granted he does not have an unblockable really, if you don't count his full block, he still does a lot of damage with his heavies, and that's what a lot of people do. They just do heavy and hopefully see which one lands. Sometimes some might do like a headbutt or something or whatnot, but for the most part it's just spamming heavies. And unfortunately, it can interrupt a lot of people nearby. That can get annoying. A good amount of people do pick Warlord. He's I wouldn't say really popular, but I've definitely seen a good amount of people pick Warlord. Second to last now is going to be Shaolin, and people really, they just like, because he can, I guess he can really go get a infinite chain going with his heavies and lights in different directions. So some people do that if they don't know his key stance, chi key, I don't even know. But the people that do, they'll just get into it after one heavy or light and just do his top unblockable over and over and over. He can get obnoxious because he has a lot of range on his sides, especially his dodge, and that can get, you know, again, really annoying to fight with. Not really many people pick Shaolin. I think he's probably too technical for them, and it gets kind of scary. Like, what do I do with this guy? So, but still, A tier. Lastly, at A tier, we put Highlander, or it's only me making the video. I originally wanted to put him in S tier. I'll explain later. But with Highlander, you can easily get into his combat stance. I don't know, and just throw unblockables as much as you want, or until your stamina goes away. But it does take a lot of stamina, but people still do it because it's unblockable, and the range is pretty alright. Or sometimes they'll just do normal heavies or whatnot if they don't really know the character. And yeah, but the reason I didn't really put him at S tier, I kind of changed my mind, was because a lot of times bots tend to just dodge it, and it can get really annoying, and you can just like lose stamina by just spamming it. But still, he's a pretty spammable character, and his range is pretty good to hit other teammates, that is. And a certain amount of people do pick him, not too much. It's kind of rare, and no one really does his little pommel strike thing like in PvP or whatever, because unblockables are better. So yeah, we're done with A tier. Onwards to S tier. We're finally at the dreaded S tier, and what better hero to pick than Black Prior? I'll admit I'm really guilty of doing this when I first started playing him for a few reps, but he has a really easy chain of just doing heavy into unblockable, into unblockable, heavy, unblockable, blah blah blah, and just constantly doing this. And the heavy is undodgeable, and the other heavy is just unblockable when you go into full stance afterwards. It's really cheesy, I'll have to admit, and it can interrupt people around you, and just really obnoxious. And a good amount of people pick him. They don't really bash that much, but they do this a lot. Also in S tier, no big surprise, is gonna be Kensei. And his biggest, like, pretty much the elephant in the room is his side dodge and his unblockable top. People do this all the time, or they'll just do a normal heavy into unblockable, or heavy into undodgeable side. I'm pretty sure it's undodgeable. No, it's hyper armor. I keep getting these things mixed up. But people do this almost all the time. I can kind of get it where you use the side dodge in a mix-up, but if you're doing it like all the time, then it's just like you're just feeding the stereotype. A lot of people do pick Kensei, and again, his long range, he's a lot of long range, can't interrupt people. So yeah, that's why they are S tier. Also, not a big surprise, is going to be Lawbringer, and I see a lot of people when they play him just do his heavy, because that heavy is always unblockable. They might do a light, very few do a shove, or even the long arm, what do you call it? But it's just heavy, and that's it. And it's usually from the side, and that can really hit people, hit your teammates on the side, and just a lot of people pick Lawbringer too. So yeah, that's why you are our S tier. Next is going to be Shigoki, and really when I see people play Shigoki, they just let the heavies fly. They used to do lights too because they had hyper armor, but now that they don't, just heavy into heavy, or just heavy into unblockable, because it catches a lot of the bots and it has a lot of good range on it, and you can trade with it, and that's it. Some hug, not really, They don't do the headbutt, just heavy into heavy, and that's it. With his stature and range, he can definitely be, get in the way with other people, interrupt some attacks, and yeah, some people pick him, not a lot, kind of a little less, but like, yeah. Also in S tier is gonna be John Hu, something like that, and well, all his finishers are unblockable, so usually people will just do either the heavy or the light unblockable. We'll see the heavy unblockable just to finish it off, or very few will even do the zone attack. And of course, with his long range, his super long range, he has a lot of range on this guy, this character. It hits a lot of teammates, especially that zone attack, and it just really disrupts everything. So it's really hard to kind of gank with them around unless they do the top unblockable or something. But for the most part, people just do the side. A good amount of people pick them, a decent amount, not too much, probably because, the DLC heroes. Yeah, S tier, a lot of range. Jang Jun is also in S tier, and really it's for his heavy unblockable and his long range. A lot of people do that, they'll swing from the side and hit a lot of teammates in the process, or they might even do his zone, but not really that much. They don't even do his kick, just that. Just heavy unblockable, and it can really be bothersome to the team, and really just gets in the way. Some people pick him, not too much. I think Nush is the least picked Wulin, but he's kind of like somewhere in there, kind of. But yeah, S tier, really hard to fight with. Also, not a surprise that Hitokiri is also in S tier. They are able to chain their heavy attacks and get hyper armor, and even do an unblockable finisher, heavy finisher, which people only really do. They don't do. Some probably do the kick or the sweep, but not really. It's just heavy, etc., etc. Or especially his fourth feat, which why not? Can kind of get annoying. That they don't really hit their teammates that much, but with the unblockable, they can usually just go and get a kill from you or something. Decent amount of people are starting to play Hitokiri because of their rework. So yeah, more Hitokiris around, and also they're in S tier. Now we have arrived to the two biggest offenders, and the reason why I even made this list in the first place. But first, we're going to talk about Orochi. This is all they do, just top heavy into unblockable. That's everything. I swear to you, no dodge attacks, no light, not even a light. I thought Orochi was supposed to be meant for a light, but no, it's just that. And I've seen so many people, so many high rep players only do this, and it's just why. And yeah, I'm a little bit mad. So that's it. They don't really interrupt teammates hitting them, but they do tend to just steal the basically just steal the kill with the last damage, because the unblockable can do a lot of damage. And yeah, a lot of people pick Orochi just for this case. So yeah, obviously S tier. And finally, we're here at the most brainless hero in the game. I'm sorry if you're a Warden main, but it's just ever since they gave him all his heavies, because it used to be just on the top, and people still did it, but every heavy is unblockable. This is what everyone does. Barely anyone shoulder bashes or anything. It's just this. I see it all the time. I see, how are you rep 68 on Warden and you only do this? It mind boggles me. I don't understand it. It's so boring and tedious. And sometimes you hit people in the way, but I don't know. It's just, I can't get over it, and I see it all the time, and it really bothers me. But it's PvE, and what are bots gonna do? Bots are kind of stupid. So really, I don't know. But hello, here's your winner. Here's the most brainless freaking hero in the game, Warden. If you enjoyed the video, like it, or hold on, let me calm down a bit. If you like the video, then like it or something. I do appreciate likes. Subscribe if you want to. I don't really like begging for subscribers, so only subscribe if you want more. If you didn't like it, tell me why. I'm always up for constructive criticism. Instead of saying you suck, just maybe, I don't know, add some criticism that can help instead of just being mean. I don't know, but that's it. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you next time. Take care.